No, no problem. I understand. Thank you, Barbie.
All right, you are live.
All right, being that it's the hour of 5 o'clock, we're going to get started. The first thing I do need is approval of the minutes for the May 12th, 2021 meeting.
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? No? All right. First item of business, 0442-21. Communication proposing to amend Chapter 6, Article 4, Section 6-133, Ordinance 0009-21, Operator's License of the Municipal Code of the City of Racine, Wisconsin. First person we're having on to speak to this item is Tara.
Hello, Alders. I'm here with Amber. Thank you for entertaining this item first. I appreciate it. I have to go over and help finance and personnel after this meeting. So the item essentially is an ordinance request. We're looking to amend the way operators come to the committee. So the ordinance before you has a few provisions. Right now, anyone that has a felony essentially gets referred to the police office. And for almost everything, unless it's a misdemeanor, they come straight to public safety and licensing. So what we've been noticing over the past period of about 1.5 years, 2 years since we've had the ordinance in place is that a lot of operators get passed, which is a good thing. I'm hoping that the ordinance request before you allows for a lot more operators to go through, essentially ones that haven't committed anything recently. So I'll go through some of the major pointers in the ordinance. I believe a copy was attached to the agenda as well as it's out online. What I'm proposing before you is that anyone who has had any of the convictions within the last 2 years be referred to public safety and licensing. So any violations for serving underage persons, any offenses with operating a motor vehicle while impaired, or any other drug, weapon, or alcohol violations within the past 2 years, any pending charges or false statements would essentially come before the committee. Anyone else with any sort of felony or anything like that, the clerk's office does have discretion to send to the committee, but as long as we don't see anything that's relatively recent or any major violent crimes, we'd be able to pass them administratively. So my hope is that the committee will see the offenses for operators that they really want to see and take into consideration. And a few of the people that have had things, I know we've had operators who have had domestic 18 years ago, right? Like a few of those things that happened so long ago, hopefully we can let them get their license and start working a little quicker, knowing that essentially public safety and licensing would most likely approve that person. So I'm open to suggestions. If you have any other offenses you'd like to see before the committee, if there's anything you'd like to amend, I just wanted to start the conversation of let me give you the operators that you would like to see, and let me take some of these people who have had offenses so long ago and get them to work. So I'd really appreciate the committee's feedback if you had any other offenses you'd like to see come before you, just so that way we can streamline the process a little bit further.
Just to let everybody know, this has been in the works for about the last 6-8 months at least anyway, and they finally got it through the city attorney's office and stuff like that. And I think it's good for us because we're only going to see the violent ones coming through. So if there's any questions from any of the, go ahead.
Jeff, I got a question.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was trying to read the way the ordinance reads, and it seems that in the way the ordinance reads, if someone has a conviction of any of those things like felonies, that they can't come before the committee. So I was thinking, we even in our own city hire felons all the time, or have the ability to hire felons once they've already paid their price to society and have been through their sentencing and have served their sentence. I'm wondering if we can adjust that ordinance to say that if you have had that in the past and you have successfully served your sentence, that then at that point you don't have to come before the committee. I tried reading it, trying to figure it out, and it seems that even if they do have a conviction, and they've already gone in through it, that they still have to come before us. Is there any
Well-
way that we can change that, or can you advise?
Well, what normally has been happening on there, they got the question on there, and this is what, and I don't understand it, but it throws the people a lot, basically saying, have you ever been convicted of any kind of crime other than a traffic violation? And people are answering no, and that automatically triggers this, and that's the major part of them. The city clerks knows, I mean, if we have somebody with a whole bunch of offenses for drug dealing or other type of stuff for serious crime, that's one thing. But most of these things that, you know, like the city clerk said, it goes back. You know, the last person we had, because she forgot about it, it was 16 years ago. And this will give the city clerks a lot of discretion where we won't see it, probably not even a third of these. I mean,
Right. So what I'm suggesting is that we amend the ordinance to read that if they have successfully served their term after a conviction, that they do not have to come before us because they've already served their debt to society.
well, I guess, I mean, the city clerk can speak to this, or Robin possibly, but there's some that have serious crimes, even though if they cleared it, if there's only a couple of years old, I think I'd be hesitant about granting a license. Maybe Robin can speak to this. I'm not sure.
Alder Coe, would you like me to give it a try real quick? I think I
Yes.
understand what Alder Perez is asking. So essentially, it's only anyone who's had any of these convictions within the past 2 years. So if you have had, you know, something with a serving violation or, you know, an OWI or a DUI within the past 2 years, you'd come to the committee. If it was 5 years ago, you would not come to the committee unless, I mean, it's possible if we saw someone, you know, who came up with a murder charge, we have discretion to send them to the committee. So if there's anyone we say, hey, I really don't feel comfortable passing this person, I'd really like the committee to take another shot, we can send it back to you. But however, it'd only be within the past 2 years. So a lot of the people who are currently coming before the board, you know, who have served their time for their DWI, maybe had one when they were, you know, 21 on their 21st birthday and it was 10 years ago. Those people would no longer be coming to the committee. They would be approved administratively. Does that answer your question a little bit better?
Yeah, I'm just thinking though that if you've already had a conviction and served your time, then you really have no longer have a debt to society, and redemption should be an option. If that redemption means that we offer the license to go forward and give them an opportunity to be employed and give them an opportunity to redeem themselves, and I think we need to go in that direction. Again, we even hire felons in our own organization who have served their time, so I don't see how giving them a license to serve people alcohol is so much greater a need than
So are you
some of the other
looking
people
to
we
amend
hire to
it?
pick up
Sorry.
business.
Well, but we're only going back 2 years here. We're not going back 5 years. Like some of the stuff that's been coming to us has been 5 years, 10 years ago. The city clerk's office is going to go back only 2 years. I mean, so basically 2 years, once you're done with everything, they would be able to come to us after that. But I mean, I'm not comfortable with just saying, well, 2 years ago, they just got, you know, a year and a half ago, but they paid their time, but I'm comfortable with the 2 years.
Chairman Cole,
Yeah,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
that's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you kindly. So the only thing I have a problem with, and I see where Alder Perez is going with this, and I would agree with that in all other settings. Why it doesn't quite fit here and why I understand where the clerk's office is going is because the things that they are triggering or red flagging or to come before us are things that are probably circulating around liquor. So we have a responsibility to make judgment. This is very unique to this certain committee which makes us often uncomfortable at times because we don't always have something so clear of a policy or whatnot. We're hearing stories and then we're basing, what they're saying. It's a judgment call, quite honestly, and it's unfortunate at times. But so I still think just with what is being proposed, especially when it has to do with anything to do with liquor, it is definitely a higher responsibility than any other citizen that's not going for such a license. So you do have to go through one other additional hurdle. And, again, it's unfortunate. I would agree with Alder Perez 100% in any other setting because they've served their time. We no longer should keep placing that judgment on those individuals, but putting that 2-year limit, let them at least tell us their story and see if we feel comfortable granting them that right to have that additional responsibility to serve liquor in our community responsibly.
Anything else from anybody? All right, I would ask for a motion from the committee then to move forward with this. So can we get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? All right, thank you very much, Tara. Thank you guys for all your hard work.
Thank
getting this
you.
Thank
done.
you. Thank
All right,
you.
we'll talk to you later. All right, next item of business, 0426-21. Communications submitting an application for a Class B retail fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for Mexico Lindo LLC restaurant doing business as Mexico Lindo, located at 606th Street. Ed Sharding, agent, First District. So do we have Ed on?
I have Ed and Jose, the owners. I'm getting them to unmute real quick.
Okay.
Ed, can you hear us? No?
Ed?
Let me ask him to unmute again.
Can you hear me now?
Ed, can you hear us?
Okay.
I can hear you.
All right, so we're gonna get started on this.
Can you hear
probably
me?
need- Yes, can you hear
Yes,
me?
we can hear you.
All
Okay.
right. Would this be for the agent or the owner? Where I swear him in? Because Ed's the agent, he's done this before.
Alder
I
Code,
believe
this is
you
for
have
the
to
agent.
swear in the agent.
Okay, this is free, okay, good. So Ed, I got a question. All right, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Hello?
I do.
All right. We are here today on your application. You will have a chance to tell the committee about your business and why you are applying for this license. After that, I will read the summary for the Good Neighbors Report, and this committee may ask some questions of you. I will then check to see if the city staff has any information to add, or if any members of the audience wishes to speak for or against the license application. Please go ahead and tell us about your business, what you guys are doing there.
Doing a Mexican restaurant, a well-known establishment, first founded on Racine Street. Been in business there for a couple of decades. Now moving on to downtown Racine with a liquor license. I've been the agent for this building with different establishments for about 15 years now. It is a restaurant serving liquor, not a bar serving food. And there's no plans on having it being open till bar time unless there's some type of special event. So I think the alcohol is going to be for things like margaritas and tequila, things along the line that fit the menu.
All right, and then we have a Good Neighbors Report. I don't know if you guys have it in front of you, but Mr. Sharding is the sole member of the 606th Street LLC, which owns the property located at 606th Street, Racine. Mr. Sharding has previously held a liquor license as he was the agent for the Roost on Sixth, which occupied 606th Street prior to Mexico Lindo. Mr. Sharding intends to be present and involved with the restaurant on a daily basis. While the application states that alcohol may be served till 2 a.m., Mr. Sharding noted that these hours pertain only to special private events which may occur only a couple times each year. Otherwise, dinner is served only until 10 p.m. And I know the restaurant's been open there for a while, and I've been wanting to help get this done. So any questions from anybody on the committee?
This is Alder Caprillion. My
ahead.
quick question is, did Mexico Lindo, when it was on Racine Street for the couple decades, did it have a liquor license?
Did not have a liquor license on Racine Street.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, Mr. Chairman. I just like to say welcome back, Mexico Lindos. You guys were gone for a while. Now you're just a little bit closer to the downtown area. You guys had pretty much a real good establishment down there going on Racine Street. So welcome back to the business.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Alder Co.
Yes.
So this is Robin from the city attorney's office. I just
Okay.
wanted to mention real quick that I believe that because the business changed hands, another occupancy permit is required, and the fire department does have to run in and check the fire suppression systems there. And I mention this only because normally you would entertain a conditional grant, and they would have to be operating within 6 months. I know they're already doing takeout. It's just more a formality at this point. But the building department does need to check that box to make sure that occupancy permits issued appropriately. So I
Yeah,
just
that's
wanted the
always,
committee to be aware of that.
yeah, that's always been that way. They had to make sure that was in there. So with that caveat, and I would entertain a motion. Anybody? Motion to approve?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Welcome, Mexico Lindo.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving on. Communication, submitting an application for a scooter business, Bird Rides Inc., doing business as Bird, located at 406 Broadway Avenue, Unit 369. Austin Marshburn, owner. So do we have Mr. Marshburn on the line?
You have Michael Cavato with the Revenue and Partnerships team. Austin Marshburn is our head of city and university partnerships.
Okay, you want to explain, I know you've been going through this for a while, but you want to explain to the committee what you're looking to do here?
Absolutely. We would like to implement a small fleet of shared electric scooters for use by visitors and residents of Wauwatosa to traverse, Wauwatosa. I was using that as an example of Racine. To traverse the city and offer an alternative transportation option that is affordable, reliable, and with an element of fun.
Okay.
Apologize for the slip of the tongue. I figured somebody
That's
might
okay.
have one.
I mean, how long have you guys been doing this?
We were the first shared electric scooter company in history. We started in 2017 and have since expanded to over 200 cities globally with a fleet of well over 200,000 scooters.
Okay. Well, I say welcome. I mean, I haven't heard too much about this, and I can't figure out how it's going to work, but all the young folks out there tell me this is going to be a great thing for us. So
Thank you.
any questions from anybody on the committee?
Chief Robinson, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
What are the hours of operation? I have experience in another city where we had to make a recommendation that, or a request that the hours be limited so that we would reduce the opportunities for people imbibing alcohol to get on scooters and be involved in traffic accidents later in the evening, because as your alcohol consumption goes up, your duty of care tends to go down.
We proactively shut the fleet down between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m. for just such a purpose. That mitigates the overwhelming majority of such instances.
Okay.
Okay, please gotta come up. They make noise. I'm not worried. Okay, whatever you guys want, I'll be okay. Okay. All right, sorry about that. Any questions from anybody from the committee?
This is Alder Caprillion.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much. So I'm just curious, I notice this is, the business address is in Santa Monica, but it talks about the local base logistics. Where exactly, because they said a collection of these and even servicing them, where in the city of Racine, or will it not be in the city of Racine, that the fleet manager will be located?
So it would be within the city of Racine. I do not have the exact address on hand, as that's typically handled by another team. Having said that, the system that we have built out is specifically designed to provide a primary economic benefit to members of the community by offering a small business at no upfront cost. These individuals have daily communication with us. While they are not direct Bird employees, it is Bird who is providing the rental, Bird who is ensuring all of the KPIs are adhered to and that the ordinance is followed.
Any other questions?
I
Go
do,
ahead.
if I could just continue.
Continue.
So have you seen, even though there is a 24/7 customer service line, of course, something local and being able to reach somebody and even for repair or issues, is this the same setup that you have in other communities as well?
That is correct. We can provide the contact information for these local fleet managers to city staff. So in the event that there ever is an emergency, certainly there is somebody there. In addition, there is already a person assigned internally at Bird to act as a liaison who can assist with any day-to-day concerns, make any adjustments that might need to be done based on dynamic circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alder.
And I'm going to ask the chief, I'm sorry I got interrupted here. So you said you have seen this in other communities, and how have they worked out?
Relatively well, and the question that I was concerned about was answered, which led to me to think of a follow-up question. It's a two-parter. So how many scooters would be in the fleet, and what would the footprint be where they would operate?
We've submitted a provisional operating zone along with our application. Having said that, we are capable of adjusting our operating zone very dynamically. So if the city would like to see any adjustments, the liaison that I referenced earlier can work with you to ensure that those are implemented. For the time being, we're targeting a total fleet size of around 100 electric scooters. We won't start with that many, but certainly we'll pay the requisite fee to have as many as 100. Instead, we'd like to start small and then scale up as the community becomes a little bit more accustomed to these scooters and as we have clear signals of the demand. We have a very sophisticated machine learning algorithm that can predict where the scooters should be placed throughout the day to maximize the utilization, meaning provide the best benefit to the community. So they'll be deployed based off of that. The longer we're within a city, the more accurate that becomes.
All right. Does your scooter have a sticker that says that the operator is responsible to comply with all applicable traffic laws?
There is a safety tutorial that every single rider must go through when they create an account that includes that information. In addition, when a scooter is scanned to be unlocked via the mobile application, a notification comes up reminding them of all of those provisions. We can also make any adjustments that the city might want to see within those notifications to include specific information that's not within the forms already built out.
Any other questions from any of the committees? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion.
Alder Cole, this is Robin. I have one thing when the committee is finished, please.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, anybody else on the committee have questions? All right, go ahead, Robin.
Thank you, Alder Cole. Hi, Mike. This is Robin.
Hey, Robin. Good to speak with you again. Thank you for all the help thus far.
You too. Thank you. I just wanted to check real quick. I talked with Stacy today. We still don't have a copy of the workers' comp and employers liability insurance policy. I know you said you were getting that, but we haven't seen it yet.
I sent it on Friday. I can forward it to you right now if you'd like. If you give me one moment, you should have the email before we even sign up on this item.
Wonderful. Okay. The other one, there's two other things in the ordinance here, we were looking for a copy of that safety tutorial you were talking about, and Chief Robinson mentioned, are they asked to comply with the traffic rules and the laws and whatever else that the tutorial states? I just wanted to see a copy of that. It's part of the ordinance. Was that sent already and we just haven't seen it?
It was sent with the application material. It includes all
Okay.
the tutorial slides. There are some movements within the slide to give more clarity when the rider goes through the safety tutorial. However, that doesn't translate well, obviously, to images.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we have it so we can look and see what somebody is seeing before they actually get on the scooter. And then the unique serial numbers, I know we talked about that not being an insurance, but do we have a list of those scooters that are coming to Racine?
Yes, those were submitted along with the application.
Okay, I think
In the event that there is any shift in terms of shipping, the way that our service centers work is we do very large batches, then certainly we will send the updated list. Moreover, we'll provide the city with real-time data dashboards so you can monitor the serial numbers, the activity, et cetera, of every single scooter on a daily basis in real time.
Wonderful. I just have one more. I'm just checking the boxes of the ordinance. We're talking about the list of priority zones where you make prior arrangements. We worded it that way in the ordinance, but it sounds a lot like what you're calling nests. Would that be correct? A zone where they go, where they're either rebalanced or
That is correct. So
Okay.
those nests are determined based off of the machine learning algorithm rather than pre-identified.
Okay.
So depending on various dynamic factors throughout the day, time of day, temperature, day of the week, et cetera, the scooters are rebalanced accordingly.
Great. Thank you, Mike. I've checked all the boxes from the ordinance. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Just sent the COI over your way, so it should be either in your spam box if I got filtered out or within your email.
Thank you, Mike.
My
I
pleasure.
got it. Thank you.
So any other questions from anybody in the committee?
One last question. What's the recovery strategy so that scooters are not littering sidewalks and become a trip hazard?
Our fleet managers proactively check on every single scooter multiple times per day, usually every couple of hours, to move them before they ever become a nuisance or a hazard. Moreover, every single scooter is equipped with a 24/7 telephone number, email address, and multiple social media accounts that individuals can use to get a hold of us directly. We're also the only company to offer an app functionality that we call Community Mode. If you would like to download the mobile app and never be a rider, you can still scan, photograph, and report issues with scooters directly to our local team to skip any customer service triage, which reduces the response time by a little bit. Not significantly, but certainly a very good way to get it front and center.
All right, well, I think you guys did a wonderful job here. I think you've answered everybody's questions here, and I'm feeling more comfortable with this myself. So if there's no other questions, I would entertain a motion.
I will be making that motion, just a comment before I do. Michael, I just want to thank you for providing this new transportation means into our community. It'll add just a little bit different of a flavor. So I appreciate that. And with that, I make a motion for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Good to go. I think this goes to council next week, and you should be good to go after that.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Elders. Appreciate all of your time.
Take care. Thank you much. All right, next item of business, 037921. Communications submitting an application for a secondhand article dealer's license, Wisconsin Discount, doing business as Wisconsin Discounts, located at 2724 16th Street, Racine, Wisconsin, 52405, Abdul Yassin, agent, 9th District. So do we have her online or?
Hello.
Hi. Now, is this for a new one now, or is this a renewal? Just asking the city staff. Part, a new one?
So we have a new one for a tobacco license.
Well, this
The
one here,
renewal-
this is for a secondhand article dealer's license. Do you
Yeah.
have this?
We have a renewal as well, yes, for a secondhand article and jewelry dealer's license as well.
So that's
Alder
what,
Cole?
yes.
So this secondhand dealer for Wisconsin Discount at 2724 16th Street is actually a new license. They have not, I believe they may have had one years ago, but they have not had one in a while. So it is a new application.
All right, well, you can, first off, is everything in order on this item?
Yeah, or you can just wear it.
No, from the city's perspective.
I have not looked into Munis on this yet today to see if we have all of our,
Yeah, exactly.
all our approvals yet for anything. I can definitely look into that. I know that the cigarette was approved, so I don't anticipate anything coming through. I did not
Okay.
see any record checks as well.
But my concern is if we approve this, I mean, are we gonna have this before council next week, the information?
All right, well, Alder Cole, what kind of information exactly are you looking for?
Well, I
Try
just
to see
wanna
if I
make
can pull
sure,
something
I
up.
just wanna make sure everything is, they're good to go on everything. And you said you didn't have a records check and stuff like that. And if we vote to
What we-
approve this, go ahead.
Nothing came back with the record check, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I thought you said you had to get that yet. I apologize.
I apologize. The record check, nothing came back from them, from the PD with the record check.
All right, well, Mr. Yassin, then you want to explain to us what you're gonna have going on over there?
Well, what happened was we had a bit of an issue last year with renewing with the whole COVID incident. This year we would just be continuing operations as usual. My grandfather's the one he's the owner. And then, but we've always had this license and we've always operated. Yeah, we've been in business about 20 years. We've never had any issues. Thank God with the police department, any requirements that the city has asked us to do, we will fulfill in a timely manner as well. And we've always been responsible with anything that the city asks of us as well, so.
Okay, so is there any questions from the committee or the police chief?
Alder Co, this is Robin.
Okay,
Alder Co, the application, it needs approval from health, fire, building, city development, and the city attorney's office to approve a copy of their insurance and 2 surety bonds approved by the clerk. So all of those boxes need to be checked in Munis.
all right, so, but we could approve this with that caveat that the license not granted until all of this is done, correct?
Correct, subject to the approval of that, yes.
Right. So all right, I would ask for a motion from the committee then?
Motion to approve, subject to all the boxes being checked.
All right, we have a
Second.
motion, or we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on. Item 39221, communication on behalf of the Public Safety and Licensing Committee requesting the appearance of Mark Thomas, agent for the Blue Rock Lounge and Eatery located at 306 6th Street pursuant to a formal expression of concern, and also requesting consideration for rescinding the formal expression of concern. So do we have Mark
I
on?
apologize. I'm sorry, Chairman Cole. Did we skip over 0378-21 for communication in regards to the massage establishment?
Yes.
Are we
Oh,
purposely skipping over that?
No. Wait. No, all right.
I don't mind if we go ahead and take up the item number that you just read out, and then if we can go back to that,
That would be fine. Thank you for
Sure.
showing me that. I just went past it. I apologize. All right. So do we got Mark on?
We do have Mark on. Give me 1 second. I'm asking him to unmute.
All right.
There, he is ready for you.
All right, Mark. You there?
Yes, can you
All
hear me?
right. Yep. Do you, can you raise your right hand and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You have been called here today because the committee has received notice of one or more concerning incidences at your establishment. As a result, the committee has issued a formal expression of concern against you under section 627 of the ordinance. If you are issued 2 within 6 month period or 3 or more in a 1 year period, you will be referred to the city attorney's office for disciplinary proceedings. We will start with the police department's summary. After that, you will have an opportunity to address this committee. You are not required to discuss the specific incident unless you wish, but you do have to tell us how you intend to address the issue going forward. Officer Webb, would you please tell us what it was about?
Sure. Good morning. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. So for Blue Rock, the incident that got them called in was the April 3rd, 2021 tavern check. Officers responded to the bar reference a tavern check. The officers observed 10 patrons inside the bar at approximately 2:54 a.m. The officers noted there were 2 employees still serving drinks and working. On that night, the officers stated they did speak with the owner and advised him of the after-hours violation. The owner told them that he knew the violation had occurred and that he had just lost track of time, at which time he was ultimately issued a citation. Before the April 3rd incident, the prior call for service there was August 29th of 2020 for a theft. And before that, it was June 5th, 2020 for a civil trouble involving money. And that's the only incident in which the police had at that location from May 17th of 2020 to May 17th of 2021.
So, and Mark, we've been calling people in because of this, you know, after hours things to kind of remind them, you know, I know you got probably a good sized ticket out of this, and it was just kind of a reminder.
Right.
You know, and I don't have to address it anymore. Any questions from the committee? All right, then and I guess it's up to the committee. I'm requesting, we're requesting consideration for rescinding the formal expression of concern. So can we get a motion to that effect?
Article,
Yeah,
I would like to make a motion to send this formal expression of concern. I think the other thing is that the owner, he admitted that the time went by him. He did get a citation or a fine, and just a reminder, you know, closing time. So I would like to make that motion. And then on top of that, he hadn't what Sergeant Webb read off was like 2 other incidents in 2020. So this is not a reoccurring, like, you know, often.
right. All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. All right, Mark, we're just
Yeah.
just reminding you of, you know, try not to let this happen again.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I just need to say something like, you know, I run a pretty compliant business here, so I think I'm probably one of the least bars you need to worry about. So,
Yep.
but I'll definitely keep an eye on the time from now on.
Yep, and you are in my district and you haven't had any problems and I have no concerns. So with that, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Right.
Take care.
Moving back to 037821, communication, submitting an application for a massage establishment, Relax Spa Massage located at 403 6th Street. I'm going to butcher it. Sagano Chen owner.
Alderman, Public Safety Committee.
Oh, okay. So do we have this person on?
We do not. I do not see them logged in right now.
Okay, I thought this came up. is this a new one or did this place have one before? I thought this address had one and this could be a renewal, but am I wrong?
No, it came to us and we entered it as a renewal. If they did, they had it much before our new system that we use, Munis. If they had it, it would have been years ago. So they would have to come through as new either way.
Well, I guess it's up to the committee. We deferred it. If we want to defer it one more time, if they don't get back to us, we can take care of it then, but so I'll entertain a motion from anybody on the committee what they want to do with this item.
I'm comfortable with moving for another deferral.
Is that, so we have a motion for a deferral. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving on. Item 041421. Communication on behalf of the Public Safety and Licensing Committee requesting the appearance of Crystal Zahler, agent for GRC Sport Lounge LLC, located at 1307 Douglas Avenue, pursuant to a formal expression of concern and also requesting consideration of rescinding the formal expression of concern 4th District. So do we have this?
Hello.
All right, Crystal, can you raise your right hand? And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You have been called here today because the committee has received notice of one or more concerning incidences at your establishment. As a result, the committee has issued a formal expression of concern against you under section 6-27 of the ordinance. If you are issued 2 within a 6-month period or 3 or more in a 1-year period, you will be referred to the city attorney's office for disciplinary proceedings. We will start with the police department's summary. After that, you will have an opportunity to address this committee. You are not required to discuss a specific incident unless you wish, but you do have to tell us how you intend to address the issue going forward. Could we hear from Officer Webb, please?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Reference GRCs. The incident that got them called in was the March 26, 2021 incident in which officers, I'm sorry, that's not the incident. It was an incident in which officers responded to the bar on May 2nd. And upon arriving, they found about 200 patrons outside the bar and in the area. Officers made note that the American Legion parking lot was full, even though that bar itself was closed, and ultimately signed a non-consent with the police department to where they want any vehicle parked in their lot cited when they're not open for business. Officers noted that the individuals were standing on cars, dancing. Officers stated that the group was loud, with loud music and blocking all lanes of traffic. Officers advised, due to the size of the crowd, all the squads in the city working that night were required to clear the area. Officers advised it took approximately an hour and a half to clear the area with the use of an audible device. The lieutenant referenced this, like I told you last time, called me and I spoke with him directly and was advised that while this was going on, there was no squads available to take calls for service in the city. Even more so, one of the calls for service that had to wait while officers addressed this incident was a 4-year-old that was found just wandering the streets. Additionally, I provided you guys with 3 pages of incidents going back to January 2021. Out of those incidents, 10 of those incidents will be what we considered calls for service that will be held against the bar, from fights, tavern checks to where there's no bartenders working, incidents to where the bartender is working but doesn't have a license. We had a couple occasions to where they didn't display their capacity sign, and at one point they said they never got it, so we went back and forth with them on that. But the lieutenant that works 3rd shift wanted to be known that on some of these incidents, when officers stopped out at the bar, they tried to gain compliance with the bar and see what they could better do to help the bar to kind of get some of these things under control. But if you just look at the last couple of calls for service, that hasn't been the case. Going back to May 9th, which is a couple of days ago, officers were providing extra attention when, as the patrons was exiting the bar, a fight started. There was about 100 to 150 individuals loitering in the area and refusing police commands to leave. So, sergeant at the time noted it took 9 officers and 30 to 45 minutes to clear the area. The officer noted that they attempted to make contact with the bar, but the bar basically closed and locked its doors and turned off the lights while the police was out there clearing its crowd. Like I said, last time the police department was looking into having this property, issuing a nuisance letter to this property because it has the qualifying cause within the required time frame.
All right. You can speak to this and what you plan on intending to do with this.
Okay, well, for one, we submitted an application to request an on-duty police officer through the lieutenant, 2 online duty police officers. We have been having issues. I know my manager, Reggie Booker, called and talked to the lieutenant the next day after there was the 200 people outside asking for additional help to get people to leave because we're actually having problems getting people to leave. So we actually are going to start closing the bar at 1:30 on the weekends because it's hard to get people to leave and even want to leave the streets. We are also going to make the age requirement to be 30 and over because we are noticing it's a lot of younger patrons that's not wanting to leave the area. But we're open for suggestions for you to tell us, like, what's something that we can do to get them to leave because we can't even get them to leave.
Alderman Cole?
Yes, go ahead.
And with COVID, we're not really letting a lot of people in, and they're staying outside, and they're partying outside as well.
All right, go ahead, Sergeant Webb.
So actually, right now, we closed our bar down for a month, trying to get stuff revamped and trying to get on the right track again.
Go ahead, Sergeant Webb.
Okay, no problem. Absolutely, I understand that. So you asked what are things you can do.
Yes.
Your bar is no unique, no more different than any other bar in the city. You attended a good neighbor meeting, and one of the things that you were told, because we tell everybody, is if you have people at your bar that's not following your rules and conducting themselves, it's probably best that you call us as opposed to the citizens calling.
Yes, and I did tell the managers there, like, I don't know because I'm not there at nighttime. I have a child, so if my manager's not calling me and telling me something's happening, I don't know because the cities are like the police department's not calling me and telling me anything, and my manager's not telling me anything. So until I get this later.
Absolutely, but here's the problem. We're talking about resources here. And we can help you as much as we can. But if you have 200 people in front of your bar and no one is calling us except the neighbors, that's not you taking the initiative to have any kind of relationship with the police department.
You are right, but that's why I had asked my manager
Let Sergeant Webb finish, please.
Okay.
Hold on. And I understand that. But ultimately, the onus for this is on you as the owner. So if you're saying that the police department should call you the day after to tell you what's going on in your bar, I can tell you that there's more bars in this city than trees on the current block I'm on, and we don't have the resources to call each and every owner to make sure that their supervisors and managers are being good supervisors and managers. One of the things I always say is you have the right to run your business, but you also have the obligation to be a good neighbor. And I can tell you when I'm looking at these reports, you guys aren't calling, which means you're not being very good neighbors. If you have 90 people in your bar, which is your COVID capacity, and you have 120 people outside your bar, I'm sorry, how do you not understand that that's not going to end very well? The same reason we all say the very last bar to close in the city is going to inherit the other bar's problems.
Right.
So,
I did talk to my manager because I did see the live Facebook things the next day. I was getting a lot of calls, so I did talk to my manager. I actually got rid of the one manager that was not calling the police because I did tell her previously that it's her responsibility to call the police, so you are right about that.
Well, I understand.
She's no longer employed there.
and I understand that's internal, but as you take this month to revamp, the lieutenant on third shift will be a vital resource, as would I, as with the city attorney. The problem is you haven't been utilizing this resource. In fact, we've had issues to where you're not displaying the proper license. You have bartenders there, and on one occasion we went there and there was no bartender there whatsoever. And I understand you could say this is employees, but you're responsible. That's why when they mess up, we call you.
Right. That night that you're talking about, she lives behind the bar, and she actually had went home and was supposed to be coming right back. So I don't know what I did talk to the employee, so I am understanding. I am aware of that. All I can do is make it better for the future and make sure. Start being there more often, making sure that if they're not calling, stopping in the middle of the night, making sure there's customers following rules. If there's not, I'll call you myself. But that's the reason I closed down for a month, and I'm just going to try and revamp to see what we can do better and have a better staff that's going to actually follow the rules.
All right. Do we have any questions from anyone on the committee?
This is Alder Caprillion. I just want to first start out with just two questions. Crystal mentioned about shutting down for a month. What are the dates of shutdown?
We closed last week all the way until, we're not going to open up probably till the middle of June, or maybe not even till July. It all depends on when it's going to be all together and be able to get a staff that's going to be able to basically follow rules.
Thank you.
It's going to take time. So from now all the way maybe to July 1st.
I appreciate that information. And then I just had one other follow-up at this moment is you mentioned because of the nuisances that you would like to request an on-duty police officer.
Yeah, we already did.
And so this is my concern with that, because I too, just being an alderwoman, I get a lot of phone calls almost on the daily to every other day of citizens who want police officers to be patrolling specifically around their house or around the areas. And to have that individual request for a licensed establishment where we are giving you a really high privilege to be able to serve liquor. And I am just curious of how many security guards do you have on hand?
5.
5.
And they don't listen to security guards either.
Okay.
It's really sad.
So this is really difficult, right? So here we are, we're supposed to be overseeing and being responsible and us do our due diligence here on the committee. And, but when we have an owner like yourself, who's telling us you don't even know what to do and, things are out of hand. And so this raises a lot of concerns for me, and especially because of all of our resources that are being utilized for this one place when we have a whole city who's also requesting services as well.
Right. That's why we're shutting down
which I can appreciate that. However, my concern is shutting down, great. So we won't receive these calls and we can disperse our services elsewhere, which is great because we are limited, especially during those hours that you are needing our services or police services. But, what is this plan? I would love to hear, this plan in place and really how things are going to change, because if things keep going the way that they have been going, I can see things ramping up and not going the other way. So I just want to tell you lots of red flags specifically for that. And if it is 5 security officers, maybe you need 10, so.
Right. Correct. That's what we're really trying to revamp it, and that's why we're going to, make the age limit higher and then close also early. But we're looking into more security guards.
How will you let your
here's the chief. Go ahead, Chief.
How will you let your patrons know that your age requirements have changed? Through social media, or how are you going to do this?
It's going to be on social media, and it's going to be at the door, on the front and the back door, saying you have to be we're thinking age 30 to start off, and just going to try it for a couple months to see how it goes. But yeah, it's going to be on the Facebook page. It's going to be different people sharing it as they usually do, and it's going to be posted at the bar on the doors.
Now, how will you?
And security will be enforcing it.
How will you ensure that your security actually does enforcement and is doing the age checks for compliance?
Well, for the first little while, I'll make sure I'm there and also checking as well.
Sergeant
until I can see that it's in full effect, that they're actually following the rules, I'm just gonna have to make sure I'm there. And there's cameras that I can watch it from home as well.
Sergeant Webb, do we have a good neighbor agreement that we can have Crystal sign that specifies some things that outline the expectations of the establishment?
Well, that would be through the city attorney's office. We can ask her to sign it, but I'm not sure if she signed it on her own volition, how much enforcement could we take on it? Again, and listening to everybody and even listening to her, one of the problems is you have great ideas, but you're not exercising them. If you're going to sit down and you really want to do this, like I said before, myself, the lieutenant of third shift, anybody that's been around and done this, we can absolutely help you. We don't want you to fail, but I'm not seeing much in terms of we can't police your bar is what I can
Right.
say is we can't clear your crowd every night. 200 people, an hour and a half, we can't do that. But long story short, Chief, I don't know. I think that's the question for the city attorney's office. If she does sign one of those, what would it look like?
Hi, Chief Robinson. This is Robin. We have not required that of prior agents or owners before. That would be asking over and above what the ordinance requires after a formal expression of concern. If that is a route, though, that RPD is looking to pursue, there is that chronic nuisance ordinance. And pursuing that ordinance, if the RPD decides to issue that notification or that declaration, then the owner is required to work with an abatement plan, and all of these ideas would be listed out, and then the owner would actually be held to those until that nuisance is abated. So that's a perfect example of that ordinance coming into effect here.
My concern is that we're going to get escalations. We've already got fights. And what I don't want is shots fired into a crowd of 200 people.
Hey, Robin, I know on other establishments where we had problems with, for hours and stuff like that, they came in and signed an agreement with the city that stated what they were going to do, and they had to follow those rules, and we gave them a time frame of 6 months to a year or something like that. Is that something we could do, or is this?
It's a possibility. It's going to be. It can be between RPD. It can be the city attorney's office. But it's not something that's required, but if we want to work that out, we can do that. Oh. I'm just offering up the rents ordinance because that's kind of what that ordinance is for. And I know that was already mentioned that it has been triggered with the qualifying number of calls for service. But we can look into something like that. It's just, that's kind of what an abatement plan is, basically.
Right. Yeah, well, that was my question, because it sounds like this rent thing is a better way to go on this anyway. So before I make any more comments on this, any questions from anybody else on the committee?
I have a question, Chairman Cole. I just want to know what is the capacity down there? Well, I hear all these. I hear 150. I hear 200, and I've been by that place probably 100 times, and there's no way I could see that many people in a place like that. What is your capacity, Crystal?
It's 200 for both sides because we opened the other side up.
Okay.
See, and that's one thing I have real concerns with, because I don't know if there any real capacity. It's supposed to be posted on the license, and many years ago I know we had it where they had to have it posted on the door for when the police department walked in. There was a placard on there that says how many people, and I think I'm going to have to request to go back to that, because I don't think there's no way in heck that's 400 people in that building. There's bathrooms, bathroom sizes and stuff dictate this. So
right.
It's just saying.
Yeah, it's 200.
Okay. All right. So any other comments from the committee at all? All right. Well, I tell you what, I'm not looking to rescind the formal expression of concern. I would just like to state that if no one wants to make the motion, I will make the motion that the formal expression of concern stays in place. And if anything else comes up, it's going to automatically trigger a due process. So I'm going to make that motion.
I'm gonna second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments?
I think, Chairman Cole, I think that would be appropriate. That gives her an opportunity to put some of these things in place. It gives her an opportunity, you know, as a bar owner. We've all stated, you know, we don't want to see her fail. We don't want to see, you know, a business go down, but we also want to be conscious of, you know, the safety of the entire city. So I think this gives an opportunity for her to, she's shutting down for a month. She's working some things out, retooling some things, and maybe, you know, just giving her the time to do that. And also, you know, working with the city's attorney's office and also working with the police department and figuring ways how she can move forward, because at some point, 200 people out there in the middle of the streets, taking all the resources up, and, you know, it's not fair to the other taxpayers within this city. If some really serious that night happened, no one was there to even go to the call. So I would be in favor of moving forward with that. So that gives her an opportunity to work some things out.
And I just wanted to understand, it is up to her to reach out to the police department and whoever else they need to make this problem go away. And I'm hoping she understands that.
Yes, I do.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, it's good to go. Moving on.
Sergeant Webb, do we give Crystal a contact that she can reach out to get some assistance and advice?
Yeah, she can call me directly. Crystal, you have pen and paper?
Yes, I do.
All right, so let me give you two numbers that everyone has. My office number is 262-635-7761. My work cell is 262-497-0761.
And your name again?
Sergeant Webb.
Sergeant Webb. Okay, thank you.
WEBC.
All right, all right, moving on. Thank you, Crystal. Item 01421. Communication on behalf of the Public Safety and Licensing Committee requesting the appearance of Mark Springsteen, agent for Rogers Place, located at 1843 North Wisconsin Street, pursuant to a formal expression of concern, and also requesting consideration of rescinding the formal expression of concern. 5th District. Do we have Mark on?
He is on. I'm waiting for him to unmute.
Mark? You there, Mark?
He is not unmuted yet.
Chairman Cole,
Yep.
it looked like we lost Alder Perez somewhere. I don't see him anywhere on the screen again.
That's all right. We still have what we need, so. We still have quorum, so that's all right. So is there any way
There we
to
go.
oh,
Mark, you're cutting in and out.
Okay, I'll go upstairs.
it's really bad. No, you're breaking up really bad. Tell you, well, if the committee is okay with this, since we're having this problem, would they be okay to defer this item to the next meeting?
I motion to defer to the next public safety and licensing meeting.
Do we have a second? I'll second it. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right,
All right, opposed? None. All right, you'll have to get back at him and tell him to get back to us.
Okay.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, 0. Oh. Did we hang up on him yet?
I did not hang up on him. I did mute him. Oh, he hung up. If he,
Okay.
would the committee like me to let you know if he does call back in?
Yeah, you can. I just want to
Okay.
move on and get this, moving, so.
Yep.
So the next item of business, 041321, communication from the Racine Public Library requesting a small area of Pershing Park for use by a petting zoo on Saturday, June 12th, 2021, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Recommendation to approve the communication from the Racine Public Library requesting this. So I think Alderwoman Caprillion would probably be the best one to speak to this because she's on the library board.
I am on the library board and I'm here to definitely answer any questions. I will let you know that Alder Perez is trying to get back on into this meeting as well. I think the first thing I'll state in regards to this request is this is not something new. Racine Public Library has done this in years past, but what is going to be different is that this is definitely going to be a lot smaller scale. We are not requesting in the parking lot. It's just going to be a little grassy area. It is clearly going to be for the petting zoo. It's going to follow all COVID restrictions and definitely offer this to be monitored and in smaller number. But I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone would have. I will tell you that the Parks and Services Director, Tom Molbeck, has given his blessings to this.
So if there's no questions, I would recommend approval from Alderwoman Caprillion.
unless Alder Perez, anybody, I would make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on. Thank you, guys. Moving on. Item 41621, communications submitting renewal requests for intoxicating liquor and fermented malt beverages for 2021-2022 year. And city clerk, please, anything on there that we have red flags or anything, or all good to go?
All of those ones are good to go.
Okay, so I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Vote to approve.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Item 41721, communications submitting a list of liquor license locations that have not renewed and or get published on time for the 2021-2022 year. So can we hear from the city clerk's office on this item?
Yes, on page 37 of your packet, all the items have not been turned in besides Travel Lodge. So Travel Lodge, Water's Edge Hotel did turn in their packet after I had already created the last list that we just looked over for publication. So they were late with publication. I wanted to make sure that I brought it to the committee's attention that you were able to, if you wanted to pull their business out from this list of liquor applications or liquor renewals so that we can bring them to council to get granted for approval so that they can renew on time. The rest of the locations have not submitted renewals at this time.
Trying to get to where we're supposed to be here. I'm trying to find that list. I don't seem to have it. How many establishments are we talking about?
Altogether, including Travel Lodge, I have 6 on there. If you'd like me to read them to you, I can.
Yes, please, because I don't seem to have it in my packet.
Okay, so we have Boosters Buoy, which holds a big Class B. We have Chiefs, which holds a big Class B. Travels Lodge, which holds a big Class B. Quick Stop Foods, which holds a small Class A. Krung Thai holds a small B and a small C. And then we have the Balkan Restaurant, which holds a small B.
And what's the small A?
Small A is beer away, so they just sell beer.
And where is that for?
That is Quick Stop Foods. It is 1600 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive.
Okay, I don't know that one. All right, so, well, since Travel Lodge has theirs in, so what is your recommendation on this? If they ain't turned in, they're gone. Am I correct in that assumption?
So they would not have a renewal in time.
All right, so I would guess I would make a motion to approve Travel Lodge since you said they got all their stuff in, and get rid of all the other ones.
I think we would just receive and file the item at that point
Okay.
once I pull out that one, and then we can receive and file the rest because there will not be enough time to get them published and go through Common Council before the next council meeting.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to receive and file this item.
Receive and file.
Question.
Yeah,
So-
was that-
If we receive and file, does Travel Lodge not get on the list?
No,
then,
the
or that it
Travel
will?
Lodge, the Travel Lodge is going on. They're taking out the Travel Lodge and putting the other ones on there.
Okay, thank you.
So we have a motion. Go
Second.
ahead. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, moving forward, 0278. Communication sponsored by Alder Cole on City of Racine Police Department Liaison of the Public Safety and Licensing Committee requesting the consideration of the licensed premise reports for 4/13/21 and any formal expression of concern pursuant to it. And we have two other items, 030721 and 038021. They're just, one of them's for 4/27 and one of them's for 5/11. We'll ask the sergeant to take them in order and see if there's any concerns on any of them.
Yeah, we went through those at the last meeting. The only one that,
Now, you know something?
For-
I apologize to you because I am on the wrong page and I really apologize. I had an old one in front of me. I was looking for my paperwork. So
No
it's
problem.
it's item 41821, communication on behalf of the City of Racine Police Department Liaison of the Public Safety and Licensing Committee requesting the consideration of the licensed premise reports for 5/24/21. That's the only one. I apologize to everybody. Go ahead, Sarge.
all right, there was two incidents, I'd like to bring to your attention. The first one was, Sunday, May 9th, and it was at 501 6th Street. Officers initially responded to Taste of Soul, for family trouble. The caller in this matter was a victim, stated she was assaulted at the bar. Upon arriving and speaking with the victim, she told officers that she was sexually assaulted while in the bar. The victim stated while in the bar after hours, the suspect assaulted her and attempted to sexually assault her as well. The victim stated over the 3-hour period, this assault took place until she was set free. The victim stated once she was free, she broke out the windows to the bar, which triggered the owner of the bar to call the police. Upon speaking with the victim and due to the nature of the incident, this was turned over to investigation. At the time of the initial case report, someone was arrested and taken to the Racine County Jail. Additionally, the initial incident as well as other matters of concern was still being investigated. Reference some of the things that kind of came up. We're down the road a little bit further, reference that gentleman that was arrested and the initial charges. But doing our follow-up investigation, we found things that this place was possibly hosting after hours and selling liquor after the close of bar time. The second incident occurred on May 16th, and that's at 3701 Durand Avenue, Doobie's Beer Joint. The officers responded to the St. Mary's Hospital. Upon arriving, they made contact with the victim. The victim stated as he was exiting the bar at close time, a fight broke out. He stated he tried to stop the two unknown parties from fighting, and at the time, he suffered a stab wound to the arm, non-life-threatening. The victim initially stated he drove himself to the hospital, then stated his girlfriend drove to the hospital. Reference that gentleman, he stopped providing details at some point and added that he wouldn't aid in prosecution. The report was taken at 4:38 at the time of receiving the assault complaint. That's all I have, unless you guys have additional questions.
Can you hear me?
No, I can't.
Okay, so, are both of these under investigation right now, still?
The one from Doobie's is not, because the victim was not aid in prosecution, and he stopped providing details because initially he gave one story, then we questioned about it, he gave another story, then he stopped talking to us.
Okay.
The one from 501 is still under investigation. There's some other things that came up that they're looking into.
All right, so I guess what I would suggest is holding off on that one until you guys get your investigation finished, and receive and file the other one if the person that got assaulted refuses to go and help out with the item at all.
My concern would be a woman that was held against her will and potentially sexually assaulted in a liquor permit premise.
Yeah.
There's a whole, and for a long period of time, so there's a whole lot of negligence on the part of the management team if they allow that to happen.
But Chief, we normally don't call the people in until the investigation is over with, because until everything comes out, and then we take it up at that time.
I understand, just expressing my concern. I'm
I'm
100%.
100% behind you with that concern, but until the police department tells us it's over with, that's what we normally do. Am I correct, Sergeant Webb?
You can, I'm trying to think how we've done this before. I think there's been times we've kind of done it both ways, depending on the nature of the accusation. Yeah, I think we've done this both ways at times, to where if it's something we just wanted clarification on, they were called in. If it was something to where we're kind of like, this can't exist, if we don't want it to exist for too much longer, we called them in before the conclusion of the investigation.
I guess my concern is the seriousness of this. I'd like to make sure everything is on, everything has been stated and stuff like that before we pursue that. Anybody on the committee got any thoughts on it?
Yeah, this is Alder Caprillion, just
Go ahead.
serving on Public Safety and Licensing Committee for a few terms already. In the past, it always was, if it was under investigation, at least at that time, that we didn't call them in until after the investigation was completed. Also, I believe Sergeant Webb said this incident occurred during time that it was not open for operation. Is that correct? I'm just curious of that. Okay, thank you.
It started, the victim worked at the bar, and it allegedly worked at the bar. It started after the bar was closed, after bar closing, and all the other patrons left.
Thank you for that clarification.
So then there's one item on there, and since the victim is refusing to cooperate, I would entertain a motion to receive and file that item and the rest of the report if there's anything. So motion to receive and, go ahead.
Motion to receive and file the
Do
report.
we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, being that, that's the
Oh.
end of, go ahead.
Alder Cole? I'm
Yes.
sorry. Mark Springsteen looks like he is back on. I know when I talked to him earlier, he said he didn't know it was a Zoom meeting, so I don't know if you wanted to try to talk to him again.
All right,
We did defer that item, so we would
Yeah,
have to,
yeah, can we bring that back next week? Because I got kids here and stuff like that too.
I just wanted to make sure that you knew he was on, so.
Yeah, that's okay.
Do that.
All right, so with that, the end of our agenda, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you guys very much. You guys enjoy.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.